What's up, guys? Welcome back to Truth About Him podcast, number one podcast for men's health and wellness. My name's Anthony.
I'm Barry.
Welcome back to another episode of the number one podcast for men's mental health. How's that sound to you?
Sounds very long, but I like it.
Sounds long, really?
It sounds very long. I love it though.
Just number one, though. How about we just number one?
I like number one. I like number one.
Cool.
Your number one podcast.
Right. So we're back for another week, episode 24.
24. Special number 24.
24.
No, I love that number.
Yep. So we're here. So how was the week for you?
Productive. I keep saying it, but a lot of stuff we got going on. It was a lot of opportunities opening up. I'm excited for us. And God constantly is working on those irons in the fire. Right. So we're super excited and super focused, more importantly. How was yours?
Good week. A good week. Nothing to complain about. As every week I have, things that I come up against, but I make sure that I'm looking at things from my point of view, like, why is this happening to me? And not really looking at an outside source for how I feel. So good week. So I'm glad, we're back. This is our place we can come to and talk to and be human and be normal, and have our outlet and our platform.
Exactly.
So to help us. So this week, we're talking about a subject, and it is called what?
Are men getting weaker?
Physically, mentally, spiritually? Or?
For the sake of this argument, are men getting weaker? I wouldn't say so much physically.
Right.
It's the whole total
Package,
man.
Yeah.
So is this mental? Is this spiritual? Is his whole entire psyche?
Right.
Are men getting weaker?
And that's a good question because if you look at the state of social media, and where we are, I believe it's showing a rise in men's strength and a rise in who men are. But if I look behind the scenes, behind closed doors, I would say I can see men getting a little bit weaker and not really being the men that we see or we're exposed to. And and honestly, we laughed about this. I call it the femboy era, right?
So for those that don't know, enlighten us what femboy. What is a femboy?
So to me, a femboy is short for a feminine male.
Okay.
Right? And not in the sense of they have the feminine like attributes and like body movements. It's more of the mentality.
Okay.
Right. It's more of I'm going to let my woman take the lead, and I'm gonna sit back and see what happens. Right. I'm a believer in men are the leaders, and you have a good woman to come alongside you and help you achieve your goals and your vision.
Okay.
Right. A leader in the sense that not that he's superior over her, but he can put out a vision, and he has a vision for her, for the family, for the goal, and then she comes alongside of him and assists him in achieving that goal. Right.
Makes sense.
What I'm seeing now is I don't say a lot. I see men letting their woman create the vision, and they come alongside of her and not really assist her in achieving that goal, but more of like a passenger versus a co-pilot. Right.
Okay.
So I believe that couples. I believe that if you have a passenger with you, then you won't go as further if you have a co-pilot.
Right.
Right.
So why do you think that is? Why do you think that's so prevalent now more than it was in the past?
Why is
I love why.
that's a damn good question.
I love why.
Why? So I think right now why is because I think even I've been guilty of this, letting outside sources be our voice, letting outside sources speak for us, like social media.
Okay.
Right. Instead of having our own opinions, our own thoughts, our own direction, our own creativity, we log on to these platforms and we look and see, if at Jane Doe or Jim Doe, if they're saying this about masculinity, about femininity, about men, this must be right because they said it. And honestly, most people that are out there on social are getting their information from somebody else, right?
Right.
Rarely it's original, right? It's a copy and paste. And then most people who are spitting this stuff have spent, really, in my opinion, have spent no time or not enough time healing or getting educated on what they're talking about, right?
Okay.
I believe
That's
that I believe that life creates the ultimate lessons for us, right? The things that we go through and experience teaches us to be better or worse or what have you. But I don't believe that most people have been through the mud, in a sense, enough to be able to speak on things they speak on, right? And I always say I could be absolutely wrong. This is just my opinion, and it's mine.
Right.
So I think that we allow others to speak for us, and others to create our own narratives for us versus having our own narrative, our own vision, our own voice, to create what we want.
How do you feel about? So remember, like about maybe 2 weeks ago, for the past 2 weeks, we were talking about basically the strength of women and how women have evolved, and should men protect women and provide for women. So women have gotten stronger and have elevated. How do you think, or do you possibly think that because those women have elevated, they look for men who are maybe submissive in a sense as their partner, to be their partner, because maybe they don't want to, they see their vision clear, and they might not want necessarily a co-pilot because they have evolved so far along. They might not want a co-pilot. They may want a passenger. You think that is a possibility?
Well, when you're in femboys, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
let me give you a complete answer.
The world.
Let me give you a complete answer.
Yes.
I believe at this point, we're in society that based on what I know about, based on my limited knowledge of women, right, and how they think, because I'm in their mind. I believe that they believe that right now at this point they have no choice but to evolve, but to become better, but to be more creative, more strategic, because they're seeing that the men they deal with are not on that level, right? Because there are, and it's for both men and women, but we're not talking about women, right?
Right.
I believe that what they see, or and this can be a tough one, right? And again, if this reps some fellas the wrong way, reps some fellas, I apologize.
Hey.
So the person that you are with, your mate. So if a woman is with a man that's not being, as a co-pilot, and not being productive or not on the same level, that's a reflection of who she is inside, right? Because I believe that we attract who we are. Okay. So if you have a man in your life that's a passenger and not a co-pilot, and then you are having to take the lead, that tells me that there may be a bit of insecurity in you, that you want to be that dominant person, and and I'm trying to use the correct language right here, right? So
hey, this is our podcast,
right?
So
you know what? It's a podcast.
Cook.
Let me cook. So I believe the person that you're with, because that ring volumes for me, right? Because when I was in my relationship for so long, is that I would always complain about damn, but I had to stop and look like, hey, you know what? This person, this woman is a reflection of who I am, a reflection of who I feel about myself on the inside, right? So my insecurities are coming out in her, right? So if you are with someone that is not ambitious, and not a co-pilot, and not someone that's in a sense on your level, air quotes, then you have to go back and look at yourself, right? Where am I? Who am I? Why am I attracting this certain person? Because there are people out there, men out there, who are on the same level as you, that can help you get you where you want to be, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all that. They can help, right?
Exactly.
But the fact that you're choosing femboys is a reflection of who you are, right? And then you got to question, okay, well, who am I? Right. Because no one is in your life by accident. No one. I don't care who they are, right? people in your life because that's who you are, because that's what you are attracting.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that you just touched on a point. Without us, like, so our original question was, are men becoming weaker? And I would say, man, I hate to be like on both sides. I understand both sides. Like, I would say yes, and I would say no.
Okay.
The difference, I believe, is, so I look at weaker. We talking about the total man. The total man. If a man is always on, hey, bro, how you doing? You know, hey, I see you in the gym. I see
Right,
you
right.
everywhere else. I see you in these places where we're supposed to be. But every time I see you, it's oh man, I'm going, I'm going through this. I'm hurting. I'm doing this. I don't feel like I'm doing this. I'm not where I want to be in life. I can't keep a relationship. And that's the conversation every time I see you and talk to you. That to me is a weak man.
Okay.
Now, the opposite of that is, hey, bro, how you doing? I still see you in all these places. Hey, I'm going through it. I'm X, Y, Z, and but like you just said, I got to look at myself.
Right.
I got to look at that man in the mirror. I got to check that shadow man. I got to make sure I'm holding myself accountable for the situation I'm in, regardless if I believe it's my fault or not. If you get fired from a job, I got fired. I can't believe they fired me. Okay, but ask yourself the question: why did that happen? Was it a performance issue? Were you late? Were you insubordinate? Were you, did you not take your job seriously? Took it for granted, so you cut corners and they caught on to it, and now it's like, we can't do this anymore. You've been getting away with this for X amount of years, but a stronger, I'm going to say a stronger man. A stronger man is going to, yes, I got fired. I would have fired me too if I would have done X, Y, Z. If this was my company and I hired someone that was doing this, I would have fired them too. So it's an accountability thing that, yes, we go through shit. Yes, we are supposed to go through shit. Yes, we are supposed to have the burden of the household on us. We're supposed to. We're men. We're supposed to have that. Yes, we're gonna complain, but my question is, what are we doing in response to that? Like, what's the action plan? Like, what are we doing? Yes, this is the situation that we're in. Okay, so how are we? Are we doing? You're in the gym for a reason.
Right.
So, to me, like, are men getting weaker? In a sense, yes, because we're more open to. We're more vulnerable now. We are trying to express more vulnerability, but are we holding ourselves accountable in that vulnerable state? Are we setting actionable goals to get out of the current state that we're in? Are we striving to be better than we were yesterday?
Right.
Then that's the sign to me, like, okay, you're getting stronger. You're getting, you are evolving into, or you're trending upwards in a sense. So I look at it from that perspective of the total man. And you know what fights that too, though?
What's that?
That toxic masculinity. When we...
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what toxic masculinity?
Nah, I don't know.
You should be a man. You don't know what toxic... Man, you should hold it down. You should be... As a man, you should be...
How is that toxic, though? How is that toxic?
Because when people tell you what you should be without knowing who you are, that's kind of like an ignorant statement. I can't tell you who you should be as a total man if I don't really know you per se. I can't say you should be out there providing for your family when maybe I don't know your background.
Bro,
I don't know your education level.
That's super triggering. It is, and I say it is because people want to project their shit onto you, right? Is that you look at me doing a certain thing or not doing a certain thing, and again, that's a reflection of what you're not doing. So instead of you taking accountability for you and who you are, you projecting your shit onto me, and I've experienced that for so long, and to be honest, I mean, right now where I'm sitting, get a little bit pissed off.
Really?
Right? It is. So so I gotta kind of calm myself down. Because when you walk around and do your best and and you're becoming the man or person you want to be, and then some asshole comes in and says, you know what, you should be doing this. You're not in my shoes.
No, that I agree with.
You can't dictate who I am. You do what I do. You walk in my shoes. You live my life. You provide for who I provide for, and then you can speak. But because you want to project your shit onto me, that's not my responsibility, right? That's you, and it's super triggering, and I guess it's triggering more because, for me, it came from a person that claimed they love me, right? And all the talk and all the messages and all the you should, you never do. No, okay, I get that,
Right.
but as adults, we sit and we talk and we figure this shit out together. We don't blame each other for. You don't blame me for everything,
Right.
right?
Because two people have a part in everything.
People have a part, right?
I completely agree with that.
And then when you project yourself onto me, and early on, I didn't know what a projection was. So everything that was being said to me, I'm like, man, is this shit true? Am I this dude?
And that's because of who it was coming from.
Exactly.
Right.
Where it's coming from.
Right.
And because you put so much faith in the person that you were doing life with, right? So much faith in they got me. They're gonna be there for me.
Right.
This is where I am.
Right.
But in reality, that wasn't the case for me, right? And I didn't know it, and I started, and I would say that experience made me a weaker man. Right,
being in that environment,
yes,
because you were listening, taking bad information from someone who was close to you.
Correct, and listening, but then at a certain point, starting to believe that, right?
Right.
But damn, if it's being said over and over and over again from this person who they must love me because they're telling me the truth.
Yeah.
If I know it's bullshit.
Right.
Right. But then I think for me, that made me a weaker man, and I lost so much confidence in myself and my ability to be the man that God wanted me to be, or be the man that God made me.
Right.
Right. So that was very, very very difficult for me. But now I know really what projection means, and now it doesn't happen like really ever now. Right. One, because maybe, I know, and if I hear something, it just bounces off me. Right. Or two, because it just doesn't happen because people see me for who I am and like see my value and see.
I was about to say that.
And see exactly who I am. Like this is this dude, right? Versus the other. So
that is, and I think that is another power that we take for granted, is the power of the tongue, the things that we speak into people, the things that we. Like we always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that the person who's close to you and the person that you're talking to, that's who you should be really super conscious of how you speak to them, how you speak into their lives because of the close proximity. Because if it's a stranger, if you're walking down the street and a stranger tells you to make a left turn, you're probably not going to listen to that stranger.
Right.
But if your mother was standing on there and said make a left turn, your mother has every intention,
or supposed to have your intention,
or supposed to, but
right.
you're going to take your,
you're going to trust
you're going to trust the mother's word over a stranger's word
right.
in most cases.
Right.
So that's that close proximity. So to me, I think the closer you are to a person, the more intentional you have to know what their language is, so to speak.
Right.
You can't talk to everybody the same way, and you got to know. You got to know, know what their triggers are, know if they're fragile, what you're going to say can either make or break them at that point.
Right.
So I think that's important for us as men too, to try to surround ourselves with people who we know have our best intentions and want to see us grow. And I'm just speaking from just man to man.
Right.
I'm not speaking in relationships. I'm talking about us, because this is, can we say FUBU on here? We can't say. This is for us.
Well, don't say FUBU. Just see that. Just use the actual.
Yeah, this is
for you by us.
This is all us. So
all us.
This is for the betterment of us. Yeah. So I think that we should just carry ourselves with that mindset. be super intentional on how you speak to one another, because you never know, you know what that person's going through.
Yeah, you never know. And honestly, bro, some people do know, but they just don't care, right? They
We
got
to do better.
We got to do better.
We got to do better.
There's so much selfishness that I've seen in my life.
Why do you think it is like why are we so selfish in a sense to where we don't want to see each other as a whole, as a total person, as a total manhood? We want to see each other. We want to hate on each other. Why do you?
It's it's subconscious programming, right? Everything that we see teaches us that everything is about us. It's about our feelings. We matter, not matter, but everybody. No one else matters, but but us. And also being selfish puts you in a place where you don't have to be vulnerable or really feel and speak or feel someone else's pain or want to open up and feel their pain. Selfishness is a sign to me of weakness, because when you're unselfish, you're not afraid to open up and listen and feel somebody else's pain and let them speak into your life so you can actually feel something. Right. But you want to block off, put up a wall. So you know what? It's about me. It's about me so much that I'm gonna put up this wall, but I'm not going to feel anything other than what I can feel.
Yeah.
Right. So and it's
Sounds lonely.
It's very lonely.
Yeah.
Everything that we see on social is about us being us and no one else. And like that shit not everything, but most stuff we see.
Right.
That's toxic, right?
Yeah.
It's lonely way to live. And I'm thinking back, as we're talking, and this conversation may go in different directions, but hey, it's our podcast, whatever.
Podcast.
Cook, right?
Cook.
So everything we're talking about made me think how in the recent years I was a very weak man emotionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very weak spiritually. I was strong physically, but looking back at everything that I experienced and everything that I allowed into my life, and like one thing that I always say is that no one in my life ever did anything to me. I allowed everything to happen. Right.
So you taking accountability.
So no one did nothing to me. If someone said something to me, hit me, smacked me, said something bad, punched me, threw me down a flight of stairs, then if that keeps happening, that means I keep allowing it. Right.
Okay.
So everything that happened to me is like things that I allow. So it's my responsibility, it's my accountability, and I had to be the one to kind of like move from that. But being in that place where that happened, I now realize like today, right now, that I was weak, right? And
so we just having a breakthrough?
We having a breakthrough right fucking now.
Y'all hear this?
right, like right now.
Okay.
It's like, I was weak and I had to reflect and realize how much certain things took from me, right? How much certain things broke me, how much certain things.
Hey, I hear you, but you're on the other side of it.
Right, crazy.
You're on the other side of it, and therein lies, that is exactly what I was talking about. As far as, again, we're gonna try to stay on topic. Are men getting weaker?
Right.
That is the difference I'm talking about. Yes, shit happens, and yes, shit happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking account. There's certain accountability I have in that.
Right.
And to me, there's strength in that.
Right.
There's strength in that. So, regardless of what it is, brother, that is strength.
Right.
Don't ever question that ever again, because what you look how far you've come.
Right.
A, look what you've went through. B, and look where you are as of
today,
12:49 today.
Right.
Look where you are. Look how far you're removed from that. Therein lies strength. You're still here. You're still productive. You're still thriving.
Right.
Look where you are.
Yeah.
So, I support that. I support that 1,000%.
I think for me is that it's definitely a place that I've like I walked through and come through, but just right now, realizing that the impact it had on my life, right? Because it was impactful, and I knew like these things kind of threw me off, but like man, that shit was impactful,
Right.
and when you can stand up and say, you know what, that broke me, and you recognize that, and you do the things that you need to do to recover from that, I believe that's life changing.
It is.
Right?
You can't. A beautiful rose can't grow without breaking the soil.
Right.
You can't plant a rose seed in the ground. Because what do? You dig a hole, put the seed in the ground, you cover it up. You water it, you nurture it, you pray that it's going to grow into something beautiful. But it has to go through that soil. Yeah. It's got to break through the seed first. It has to come up.
Yeah.
So when it comes up and it's a beautiful rose, you think that rose remembers or even thinks about, I was in the ground, I was a seed. Look how far I've grown. Now I have other, I'm not just one single rose. Now I got roses over here. I got roses over here. I'm a beautiful flower.
Right.
So you have to break in order to grow.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and shit, I think I broke.
Hey.
Yeah,
that's why they call it groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, right?
That's groundbreaking.
Right. So are men getting weaker? Yeah, because I think situations they put themselves in can make them weaker.
Yeah.
Listening to other people's narrative of who a man is, what he should be, how he should operate, how he should talk and move can make people weaker.
Yep.
We have to get back to that that old school hunter gatherer mindset. That's
hunter gatherer. Oh, now that's we don't. I like that hunter gatherer, but I think it's we're a more evolved hunter.
Yeah.
We're a more evolved gatherer now.
Yeah,
which makes us dangerous.
Yeah, they're dangerous. It's Jordan Peterson. You know who he is? So
Jordan.
Peterson.
I've heard of Jordan Peterson.
So Jordan Peterson. So he has a quote, and he talks about how we should always be monsters, right? Mm-hmm. You should have the mentality of a monster because you rather be a monster in a flower bed versus a flower in a battlefield. Right.
I like that
because you want to be a monster, but be able to tame it, right? Because you never know when you're going to need that extra aggression to get through something.
Exactly.
So
regardless of what it is.
If you're on a battlefield and you're this lovely flower, you're going to get trampled and you're going to get killed and you're going to get ripped up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a monster and then you're in a rose garden, then you know what? If some weeds pop up, if a snake comes in, I can take care of it. Right. So having that hunter gatherer mentality, you definitely right, has to be evolved, but that's just the mentality that men need to have to actually move forward and push forward and achieve what they got to achieve, because we have a lot to do, right?
Yep.
And we don't have much time. Bro, just last week I was 15 years old. Just last week.
Yep.
Right.
I get it. Yep.
Right. Just yesterday I was 21. Right. So it's like time goes so fast and we have to be at a point where we're like, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the time that I have and
not waste it.
And a man can be strong mentally, emotionally, but then be in a place where that brings him down. But then he has to build back up. Right. But the thing is that you can always rewrite your story. Always. You know what? A book is not a bad book because of one chapter, right?
Right.
Chapter was what's bad. I'm closing the book. Nah, keep reading, and you never know what can happen.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It doesn't even really. I don't think I've ever read a book where I shut it down after the first chapter.
Yeah.
I don't, just because I picked it up for a reason.
Yeah.
I have to trust. I trust myself. That, okay, Baron, you've picked this book up for a reason. Don't let one chapter stall you out.
Right.
Challenge yourself. Finish the book. You started for a reason, so finish it.
Right.
So that would be my mentality, regardless, almost if the book was good or not. I started something. I'm going to finish that. So it's a mentality that I think we have to have. But, are men getting weaker? I would, if you had me to pick a side, if I had to pick one side, are men getting weaker? I say no. We're becoming more evolved. We're not letting our battery go down to zero before we got to put it on a charger.
Okay.
You know, we know when our battery is at half, we plug in and we get charged up that's the evolution of us.
Okay.
We don't that stoic, that strong and silent man, I think is fading out in a sense, because that man was suffering internally. That man was screaming out silently, like, I'm struggling mentally, physically. I'm not happy in my relationship. I'm not happy at my job. I'm not happy with myself, but I hold it in.
So this man or which man?
No. The previous man. This man now has those same similar thoughts, but he has outlets. That man has outlets, whether it's us, whether it's, becoming more physically involved, or maybe taking walks or whatever. We're doing those things now to where that battery, we don't overload in a sense.
And I'm gonna say men are getting weaker.
Okay.
Right. And because men are getting weaker, because I believe that some men are allowing their lives to be controlled by so many outside influences, right? You have to be strong. You can't cry. You can't break down. You can't be vulnerable. And even though these messages are out there where you can, I don't believe that there are enough courageous men to be able to live that out loud, right? Because you're right. Someone can watch our podcast, be in our community, come to our events, and do all of that, and be and play tough. Let's play tough in the community, but then go out there to the world and then go back to being shut down, right? Because they don't want anyone to see them as weak. Because we can always say, it's okay. You're not weak. Strong man cry. Strong man talk. Strong man communicate. We can always say that. But do we have the courage enough to go out there and live that out loud because of what the world is saying, because of what our family is saying? And I remember this one guy said to me, he's like, my wife and kids would rather me die on my high horse than to come down and be vulnerable. Right. And like, that is sad. Right?
That is very sad.
But it's like, but that's how people live. Because I can talk to you, be on the phone. I can text you. We can be on Zoom, and I can spill my guts to you. But do I have the courage to go out there and live that out loud? And I'm seeing no. I mean, we're you're a track guy. I think we're on the straightaway of the 400, coming around to that the last curve. But we'll get there. In our lifetime, who knows, right? You and I are there and not afraid. But for the majority of men,
But I think we're further along. I
believe so too.
Yeah. I want to give us some credit and think that we're further along than we were before. So that's I think we're getting stronger.
Yeah.
But you got some valid points there. We do some are comfortable in a certain setting but won't live it out loud out of fear of being judged, of being labeled weak, or man up and all of that stuff, because it happens.
Right.
It happens. We man up. I hand to God, I was a ringleader of Man Up years ago.
Yeah.
But it's like, nobody want to hear all that. You sound like a little,
You can still say it, but it just means something different today.
Yeah. Stop crying. Play ball, especially on the court.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, bro, on the court you can't cry. On the court,
well, they cry about calls. I'm talking. Yeah, we talking. I'm talking like they crying about calls, or you touch their hand and they want to foul. Like, So that part's a little bit. I mean, we playing ball. You're not gonna get that call out.
That's true. So how can you cry on the court but not cry in real life?
You can't cry on the court, bro.
No, well, it's a 4 foul. Oh my God, you.
Oh yeah. You see how I said it, like real super
sensitive. You can
sensitive.
whine on the court, but you can't whine out there.
Nah, you can't whine on the court. I'll tell you, if you start whining on the court, especially if you're the aggressor, and when I match your aggression, you call foul. Oh yeah, you've lost to me already, because you want to dish it out. You trying to punk me. You wanna knock me off my block, and no, that don't happen. This is a competition.
That
We're men competing.
that reminds me of your
Monsters.
of your boy at the Grove with the tall guy with the gray hair. Yeah, yeah,
We're not gonna
yeah.
drop no
But
names. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even know his name. It's just like
I'm not gonna.
you know.
I know his name. I'm not going to
But
say his name.
but even in that, it's like that can be considered a femboy, right? Because you show all this aggression and I can do this, I can whip your ass. Like, what are you hiding behind, bro?
Right,
What's there for you?
right.
Because if I understand if it was one incident that was isolated, but it's like every time there's somebody different, and it even touched one of our boys, right? It's like what are you hiding behind? It's like that's another form of like weakness because you're all pumped up and like nah, bro.
Right.
It's like
What do you have to prove?
it's like a while back my daughters got into it with one of their former friends at school.
Ah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is before I even met, right? So this was like my now 20-year-old. She was like maybe in 9th, 10th grade, and it was her best friend. They got into it. So then her mom got into it. Then I'm like, you know what? Let me call the father, see if I can work it out, right?
Right.
So I said, hey, so turns out there's no father there, but there was a grandfather there, right? Okay, cool. I'll talk to grandpops. I'm on the phone with this amazing king, and he's all pumped up, and we can handle this right now. I'm like, bruh,
The grandfather.
the grandfather.
Okay.
I'm like, bruh, I'm like, that's easy.
Right.
Fighting is easy. What's hard is to communicate and find out where these kids had its breakdown, so we as adults can fix this.
Right. Right.
Oh, you're right. It's easy. It's easy. This is easy, bro.
Right.
It's easy, but this is the hardest thing that you're gonna ever have to use.
Right.
Right?
Did he, when you called and reached out to him, was he expecting aggression?
Of course he
So
was.
he was trying to match
because
aggression.
that's
and he
what
didn't
we
even know.
do.
Right.
Hello. I just said hello, my boy. I just said hello. But that's the thing is like that's. I guess when people see me, they think that I automatically want to fight. I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, bro, you look aggressive, bro.
Yeah, but I want to fight you. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. But how about we sit and talk this thing out like adults, like men?
Like exactly.
How about we do that and see how hard that is? Because yeah, you're gonna hear some things that you don't want to hear. It's like, again, with my daughters, I had a different challenge, and I was talking to the father,
Mm-hmm.
and his words were, you should calm about this. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be emotional like you.
Right.
I'm not, because emotion gets you nowhere. Emotion
Right.
gets you in trouble.
Right.
Bad emotion.
Right.
So even though you are puffed up and upset, emotional, that's not who I am. Now I've been taken there before, but now the man I am today,
I don't want to go there. I choose not to go
not
there.
to.
Yeah. I
not
mean,
to.
I don't want to.
I'm gonna get my pressure all up because of you.
Right. I got stuff to do.
After this, I might just go sleep.
Yeah,
I got things to do.
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
So yeah. I mean, I think there are different sides of weak men who
Yeah.
don't stand up, or men who stand up too much and thinking that their puffiness and their talking is going to resolve anything. And I get it. We are hunters. We're warriors, but there's a way that you fight battles. There's a way you go to war. Most war, I would say, all wars are won by strategy, not aggression.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that strategy can be a form of aggression, but if you leave with just aggression, then no, the mofos that have the strategy are going to be the ones that are victorious.
Exactly. It all comes about to preparation. It all comes. How do you prepare? Knowing how are you gonna, especially the older we get, so we start to apply the knowledge that we've accumulated over our years. So if you had the same exact basketball team with the same exact talent, one was there was just a hair difference. It's only going to come down to preparation. Who prepared the best, who articulated their play the best, who executed the best. That's what it comes to. If you have a play, a style of play that you prepared for, and you apply it in your game, typically you're going to win.
Right.
You know, if your prep was better.
Right.
You know, hell, Sean will tell you he had trash teams.
Yeah.
And they played against trash teams. But sometimes the preparation and the execution is a lot better. So,
right.
You know, we got to just know our terrain.
I got some good news.
Oh, I want to hear good news.
I'm not triggered anymore.
He's not triggered.
I'm not triggered anymore. I'm good.
He's not triggered.
All is well.
All is well.
All
I
is
think.
well.
I think. Hey, for our 24th episode,
right?
This is our Mamba episode.
Mamba episode.
Shout out to Cole.
I love it. Rest in peace, Cole.
Rest in peace, Cole.
Yeah, and I think that it was good to flesh this out and like talk about that. Would it be in 24? Because you never know what's going to happen. Like what needs to happen always happens. Right.
Exactly.
And it does. And we always say this podcast is not just for you guys and for them.
No.
You know, it's really for us. Because I tell you every week. You know, I can't wait the Thursdays. Right. You know, we shoot Thursdays, but you got to see this now. It's Monday.
Mondays, right?
But as we shoot this, it's Thursday. But I love it because it's a place that I can come to and like, you know, I can just like release and, you know, just speak and like you said, you know, cook, you know,
cook.
Let me cook. Right?
This our platform. This our lane.
It's our lane.
Cook, bro. Yeah. Cook. You know, we're always gonna connect with somebody that is listening. So and we got to be the change that we want to see. You know, we always say, you know, it's diluted out there. It's podcasts. It's a billion podcasts out there. It's a bunch of everything out there, and everybody's talking about the same stuff. What makes us authentic is we sit down. We could do this every Thursday with no cameras and just chop it up.
We do on Mondays, right?
We do Mondays. Pick a day. Mondays, Fridays. Pick a day.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. We just decided to put cameras in front of our face on today. So this is what sets us apart. This is what makes us number one because we don't claim to know it all. Yeah. We don't assume to know it all. We don't claim to be something
Who wants to know it all? Who wants to know it all?
Who wants to? I always just want to. I'm searching for more. Like I'll tell you, we got. Not for TV. This ain't for TV. But yeah, we're always just trying to like learn more. We want to do more. If you want to do more, you got to learn more. You can't. I got to expand my bag. So we expanding our bag.
Definitely. All right. What else? Anything else, or are we complete?
I think we are complete. I hope we answered that question. Our men getting weaker. I loved it because we had diverse opinions, but we all came in the end and we agreed. I love that. So if we didn't show anything, we showed being articulate and discussing our point of views and understanding. So I think we cooked.
All right, we cooked.
Yeah, I think we cooked.
Well, y'all, thank you for cooking with us. Podcast is something that we do every week, and we prepare like crazy for you guys every single week to bring the best versions of us that we can.
Absolutely.
So thank you for watching. Help us get the message out. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and get the message out. And thank you for watching Truth About Him, the one podcast of mental health and wellness. Peace out.